Okay, so it is a lot going on, as you guys can see, but maybe can barely tell. But we're going to take another crack at this. Selena is done. And the other Chris reading, we're going to just throw that on the back end. So again, you guys will have content once you get over there to the other side with Chris, Justin, and Selena. But let's get into the energy now and see. If I hit a brick wall, then it'll be just as simple as the reading that was up will be there. It's just so much going on. You guys may want to stay tuned for the collective reading and the Hollywood reading. I'll see if we'll be able to get into it. All I can do is try, y'all. This energy is going to get even worse within the next 3 weeks. Okay, so Chris's energy here. Okay, so I am going to be referencing that reading a lot to the 95 people that did get to see it, because there was at least 95 views on it. This has a lot to do with the spirit of revenge, retaliation, rebellion, all those sorts of rejection, all those sorts of energies that he's going to have to work through and purge out. I also did get in that reading to extend, and they're just telling me what to address that was in that reading, to address it now and then pick up from there and, do something. I guess that'll be on the public platform. That, he would get very snappy. And, there'd be a lot of agitation because, right now too, it's just very important that he moves with precision and he can't sit too long on making decisions, and he has to be sure to have great discernment. And I feel like this could, if he take advantage of it, get him very skilled when it comes to executing the decisions that he makes regarding his social environment. Another thing that they did mention in that reading was specifically Jada. And they gave the example of, when you have like hood people, and when these hood things happen to hood people, how only, I guess, other people who have been exposed to this kind of thing would know how to handle it. So the example that they were giving with her was that pretty much she wouldn't be of any help. She would be draining. Things would become problematic with them. And I did receive word of her deleting her, disabling her IG, and then also supposedly there's some sort of footage of Chris closing the garage door on her or something. It's not going to get any better. It's not, because the thing is, like I mentioned in that reading, it was showing that like everybody is going to be too selfish to be able to handle the things that he's gonna need as far as cooperation goes, to stay on his P's and Q's. He'll feel more like he's babysitting them than it is to have them and in his company to make things lighter and easier. And that's gonna frustrate him because they don't know how to deal with this. In that reading, they did show like Joyce, Nia, and Christine being like Christine? His aunt. Them being like kind of the strongest. Well, especially, I guess overall is to say that it would be the people that have dealt with this before that would deal with this the best, and they'd find that they'd be babysitting Jada more than she is of any help. And I will say what I felt when the message was sent through. It's pointless for him to feel away and cut up if he's not going to really do anything about them needing to deal with the consequences of whatever happened, if one would assume that he feel a type of way of how they have been behaving since he has been locked up. Because truth be told, and as quiet as it's kept, the fact is, I feel like when he did get locked up, that the moment that he did hear anything like this, to be honest, if I was him and it was me, the moment I got locked up, I would have been making moves then. I would have sent her home. This is just Even if she was an angel, you know what I'm saying? It's just like out of respect for the situation that has taken place. So if it's a case where even in her mind, you would think that when this happened, and especially if she's as old as y'all are saying that she is, the first thing you want to do is like, okay, let me get back home, let me get my life in order, or let me get some things in order, but of course she's not going to want to do that, right? Because what I got in the other reading was that she'd want to tag along to get media attention, so she's going to hang around anybody that's going to grant her that, when it is that she probably should be sitting still. I do feel like he also has to be careful, because there could be a tug that he could feel. It's given like flashbacks, so there could be some energy surrounding Amika. Like he could be tempted to like run to her for that more settling, calm energy, because that is a quality that he did like of hers, even though sometimes it was, well, I'm not gonna say sometimes, even though for her is a depressive type of behavior, it's an isolation from being socially awkward and suffering from psychopathy. And I'm not, those are just my opinions. I'm not casting any diagnosis here. But from over the years of doing readings and reading the energy, that's what it is. But because it's what his soul wants some sort of security and stability in that way. If he's not careful, he could get drawn in by Amika. And he could go into that, the typical behavior that he has when he doesn't get his way with a certain crowd, then he runs back to another crowd that he may have talked about this person to. It's just messy. And the thing is, he don't or shouldn't have time for any of this. And the way to have resolved any of this before he even came home was to send Jada home, and was to put some rules in place for these people, right? And not just this person gets to do this and this one don't. Like even with Cinco. Okay, like Claudia, if she's a dancer, she needs to be where the dancers are, right? And if Cinco and her are an item, then he goes see her on his own time, but you got a curfew. You need to be in this house by, or the hotel, wherever, by 11, 12, or whatever. And if you're not, you're locked out. He really needs to put rules in place instead of spending his time trying to just be passive aggressive towards them, because they don't take him seriously with that. I mean, I would, to be honest with you, but I'm not this type of person, but to be in their shoes, and if I was anything like them, yeah, sure, it would kind of be a joke. Like, yeah, sure, you feel a way when you're going through it. But if I was them, and I know that I still get to eat off of him and stay in his house, oh, he'll get over it. I can guarantee you that's what they're thinking, because guess what? That's what has happened. Imagine the things that has never been put on footage. You understand? That's why they do what they do, because they know like, oh yeah, he gonna get mad or whatever, but they are attracted to this kind of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? It's toxic in that sense. Especially when it becomes repetitive. Now, I'm not going to call it that if this is the first time that it's happened, but I doubt it. I don't feel that him and Jada gets along as much as y'all think, and he's at risk for putting hands on her if he's not careful, because he's not going to have the patience, and he needs to be taking that energy and putting it out there now, putting shit in place. I don't have the patience, so here are the rules. And he should be impatient when it comes to putting rules in place and not giving people the space and time to set him up, or for him to get himself into even more trouble. Because right now, for me, honestly, I'm just going to be honest. No, man, I don't feel like, well, how do I put this? Because I got to say it in a way where I'm not trying to be politically correct, but I'm just speaking from the energy I'm reading with him, and not just because every situation is unique and different, right? So what I will say is, I can't say he wasn't in there long enough, because nobody, well, I can't say nobody deserves the punishment that they get for whatever it is that they do. You see what I'm saying? It's too general in that sense. But what I am saying here is this. Let me put it like this, because I'm not going to say he wasn't in there long enough. But what I can say is that he needs to extend off of the fact that he's out, and he needs to have discipline. He needs to have rules and order, and he needs to be really executing those things right away in order for him to reap the benefits of what was going to take place or needed to take place when he was locked away, right? So that's just what this is. You know, he's not free. Technically, actually, he's more enslaved now than he would have been if he was still locked up. So I don't like it, but I also don't feel like if he was locked up and being mistreated or anything, and that was my only thing. So when I did hear that he was moved and the security was beefed up and all that, great. I did feel better about that. However, now this again, it's a lot of freedom, a lot of false sense of freedom that if he's not careful, which we all know this. So, right. So I'm not even going to preach on it. I'm not even going to preach. We all know what time it is. Right. And I don't think that any of it is humorous. I don't think the whole from the cage to the stage was cute at all either, because it's not showing that he's humble. Like you get out and you take care of business. All that, you shouldn't have time to, if you're going to post and make an announcement, it needs to be very formal, like the business person that you are. And if you are out due to work, that's how he needs to be moving. All this extra stuff is uncalled for, and it's already letting me know where his head is, and it's not in a good place. It's not in a good place at all. And I think that's why I just kind of really did not want to do this energy right now, because it's a very fussy, preachy energy, and it's a lot of energy that it's really unnecessary to be in, because we all really know. We know how all of this go. Ain't none of it new. These are all the same cycles. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, I mean, I'm opening up with that, and then we could look at everything. I could, let you guys know what they're extending off of when it comes to the reading that I took down. That will now be, you guys will still get to see it. I mean, shit is just shifting so much. And again, we'll explore that in the collective in the Hollywood readings. Okay. But overall, that's my take on it. And this is also the energy surrounding it. Like I was like, what is he doing if he do not sit his ass down? Because the thing is this, regardless, sure, when you bring the Rock Nation thing into it, and it did look like a conspiracy that after he said free Tory, this happened. But even if that is true, still, he doesn't have time for that right now. He needs to let people that report on conspiracy theories and all that deal with that. He do not have to co-sign that. The only shit he need to be signing off on is these fucking performances that he need to just be focused on. So he need to do whatever it takes to keep shit clean around him. And move like that. All this extra from the cage to the stage, that was not funny. That was not funny at all. And that was so unnecessary. And then, I could imagine how it could make anybody feel that is going to be 100% in his corner to make sure he move right. He need to be giving them the same type of security that his ass expects. And that's just what it is, okay? All right, let's go. Welcome to my newbies. Hello to my oldies. My name is Diamond, and you are watching Pretty Blind Eyes. The readings held on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The discussions held on this channel should not be taken as literal advice. I am legally blind, so I do read Braille on my cards to decipher what they are, but I'm an overall intuitive reader. In the description box below, you can find several ways to interact with me, one of which is the availability to book private readings. That calendar is open. Thank you guys for all the love, support, gifts, donations, journeying with me and patience. Please keep in mind that I don't do private or personal readings on celebrities. Also, you guys have lots of content coming in membership. And with the Celebrity Favorite Friday lineup, you will get a free trial to test out the new platform. But yeah, we are about to extend on out from YouTube and try to get some extra stuff going, okay? All right, so let's see. Let's see now. But a lot of the messages in that reading still stands as well, especially the Jada part. Like I did get confirmation from that, because it did show, troubles around them with that, and things just being a lot more. See, look at this Ten of Wands. That's what I'm saying. He don't need to be tempted with nothing, because now he's under a lot of pressure. Like I said, this way is harder. People could look at him and be like, oh, he got it easy. No, this way is harder. That's why I'm like, oh, hell. Eight of Cups here. Yeah, and this still, in fact, still remains the same as it did if he was locked away. This is his chance to reflect, and he needs to walk away from shit that's like no good for him. These are still lessons, but he want to see it on the harder path, I guess. Eight of Pentacles. However, see, I did hear work release too as well. So, I mean, this is great. He's a very, very lucky man to be able to, we don't know the ins and outs of things, and there do be some shady shit going on, and so hopefully he is getting his justice, but he don't have to say anything. Walk it, zip it. Somebody need to take his damn phone. He ain't restricted enough. But they did say in the other reading that they referred to it as a restriction and not incarceration. So, and it said restricted for 8 to 12 months, and it took him into like next February or March, and then it showed a peak in performances in June. So I don't know what Spirit was talking about with that now, with seeing that he gets to do his tour and stuff, but Spirit was saying that everything was supposed to take place next June. He was a year ahead, and that's why things got so out of whack. Well, part of, I'm gonna say it probably won't, but 2% of the rest of the percentage of the issues, okay? All right, and y'all know what that is. We don't have to keep repeating ourselves. Page of Swords with the Two of Pentacles, but this is another thing too. I don't need everybody ranting and raving about how, they did mistreat him. They deserve what he did. That is petty. That's passive aggressiveness. That doesn't teach anybody anything or get anybody anywhere, because y'all gonna be mad when y'all look up next week and all of them are kikiing again together. See, that's the problem right there. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm looking at it. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay, sure. I'm sure he lets them know how angry he is all the time, but he doesn't do anything about it. They still get privileges, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it does nothing but hurt the people that care about him, that sees him behaving in these cycles. That's all it do. And then what? Y'all want to be pushed and pulled, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And I myself can say the same thing with the readings and all that. But I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm not playing about it. Hierophant here with the 8 of Wands and the Queen of Cups. That's what I was about to say. He is getting into an energy where he do want an emotional connection. And this is why he's acting out. He feels stuck. He feels closed out from a certain type of emotional nurturing that he wants. And again, we know how he gets when he gets into this fiery energy, and he's not getting that energy poured into him, and he knows why he isn't. He's pouring into the wrong things and the wrong people to be asking for what he's asking for. You know what I'm saying? Like it works both ways in that way if you want the currency to flow in that way, and as it should on all levels, because the whole thing is he don't want to just be mechanical. Then you become a robot or someone's puppet, and then that's what you'll feel like. But if you're really in a holistic type of energy where the emotions are there, the mental clarity is coming in and all that, you got to give that to get it. And you can't be giving it to people that you know damn well ain't going to receive it. That's self-sabotage right there. You're stepping into places and knowing that these people are fuck-ups, and then you could just use that as an excuse to be a fuck-up too. Y'all know we done been through this before. Come on now. Okay? And what's very interesting about this is that I do feel like, though, he do receive messages better when they are delivered in this way. Problem is, I don't do too well with, you know what I'm saying? I'll go there, but I don't like to be pushed to this point, but it happens. And I think for us, this happens at least once a year within my whole Chris Brown readings career, okay? So it's cool. It's cool. It was coming anyway. Better now than later. I don't know, because y'all know Scorpio season gets a little crazy too. And might I remind y'all, we are coming out of a Scorpio full moon. We have a public figure who is a Scorpio that's on trial. And again, we'll get more into that with the collective reading. Knight of Wands with the 5 of Wands. See, again, he's going to be very argumentative. I feel like he's going to keep catching himself, but he can't keep operating in this either. He has to create a grounding environment, a balanced one with rules and stuff. And he still have to do what he was meant to do when he was locked up. If he don't, he's going to make this worse for himself. They already betting on him setting himself up. Page of Pentacles. So he got to really put these rules in place and execute them. 3 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. And the 7 of Swords. See, again, this is for him to realize his truths, realize the truths around others, and all that kind of stuff. All that is, I mean, hey, whatever. Child. I was like, yeah, whatever. They'll be friends by Sunday. He'll be all right. They'll be friends by Sunday. I don't pay that shit no mind, because he don't really do anything about it. And I'm not talking like I'm perfect and I've never been there before. We all have, but the thing is, I don't know what it's going to take for a person like him in the position that he's in and the money that he makes and the obligations that he have and the commitments that he have and all the things that he's been through on a higher and much more severe level. What do he want? The planets to fall? I don't know. I guess we can only see now. Because, I can't speak on but what I know so far. We still got days to go. Maybe. But I can tell you what I do know from the past and where this could definitely be guaranteed to go. If he don't move differently. King of Swords, High Priestess with the... Wow. Oh, man. Okay, with the Emperor. In the other reading, they did come out a lot together. There's twin energy there. Knight of Swords, Knight of Swords star card with the Five of Swords. He got to treat himself the way he expects for other people to treat him. People can't see. Well, this is the thing. People do see things in him that he don't see in himself. That's the problem. But usually it's the case where people usually don't see what you don't see within yourself. On average cases, but in his case, there are people that see more within him than he sees within himself, and that's where the clashing comes in at. So he needs to really get his mind right. He needs to really put himself in places where he's thinking with clarity and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if they want me to run through the time frames again. I don't think so. I keep hearing still 8 to 12 months of restriction, whatever that may mean. You know what I'm saying? And now I am seeing exactly why they said restriction, because it doesn't, and like I was explaining to y'all in that particular reading, it doesn't necessarily mean incarceration, However, I do feel like this is worse. This is worse if he's not careful. And it's not even about just being careful, because to me, when I tell people to be careful, that means you're only choosing to be mindful within the circumstances that you're in. We need to come up with something where it means move in this way and become this for the rest of your damn life. Is what this is, where we need to go with this. That whole be careful shit to me is just such a it's an undermining of some sorts that I can't quite explain. I just feel like when people, like when you say be careful to a person like Chris and the things he's been through, it just means to him it could be, okay, well, I'll steal my P's and Q's for like 2 or 3 days or something. You know what I'm saying? It's too much of a temporary thing if you say this to him. We got to come up with something that means for a long period of time, to where you actually become this energy, where it becomes just your natural behavior, And again, it doesn't even have nothing to do with the actual act, because I don't know. Like I said, it could be an injustice. We don't know. But I do know what I do know for a fact to be that ties into all of this that has never changed. And it's his decision. It's his decision making, and him not listening to his gut and his intuition, and him always putting everybody else before himself. And we can't cry for him for that, because the results are so strong and obvious that it's like, by the time you feel bad for him for that, it's like all this other stuff is piling on. And again, he got to want this for himself more than anything else, and more than anybody else could want it for him, because we can't do the work for him. We can only do our own work. And that's what we should be focused on too as well. Because like I said, we're not perfect. We all have had, been through the things he's been through. He's just on a bigger stage, and we're actually seeing it. So I could only imagine how that could feel psychologically as well. Listen, I still have a heart, and I love him to death. I do. But sometimes it could make me feel literal. Okay, it could make that phrase just could make you want to strangle him sometimes, right? But what I will say also in that particular reading, it did say if he's not careful, had he not gotten locked up at all, death was lingering around in an overdose. So to those who wasn't the first 95 that did get to watch the reading, or at least some of it, that's heavy in there, and you guys will see that as well. So I'll take this as an extension and a preview to that reading, because that reading it's like y'all favorite types of reading. It was 59 minutes long, so almost an hour long, and it was a psychological reading that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. This is more of the fussy, preachy, Queen of Wands energy that y'all do like sometimes too. So I'm not going any further into it because they are saying that the other one do reign truth and it still holds a lot of validity. And so I'll let you guys check that out as soon as we launch. And I will be keeping you guys posted on that as well. And yeah, so just follow me on over to the collective and the Hollywood readings later, and maybe we could understand a lot more of what's going on beneath the surface and how it can impact us all. So my name is Diamond. You're watching Pretty Blind Eyes, and I'll see you next go round. Bye.